Hi, ladies. All right, let's talk about a couple things. Let's talk about beauty. All right. When I was very young, there were two things that let me understand that I, as a black woman, would not ever fit into the standard of beauty. Okay. The first one was Vogue magazine. Back in the days when I was in high school and in college, when I read Vogue magazine, there was one, sometimes two women in the entire magazine that looked like me. Okay. And Vogue in itself had the body type of what I consider to be a 6 foot tall man. These were women that had no hips, no butts, no thighs, and they were extremely pale. And I was none of those things. All right. So I love the clothes, but I did not ever see myself in the magazine. Back then, I think Beverly Johnson, and there might have been one or two other people that would occasionally, grace the pages of that magazine. So when I looked in the magazine, I knew that the beauty standard for Vogue looked nothing like me. Okay. And then the second thing was my mother's soap operas, the series, we call them the soaps. All right. There was one show that I watched all the time. And I remember that the main character told a woman in the scene that she was beautiful. And I remember looking at her and thinking, there was nothing aesthetically beautiful about her to me. She looked like a 13-year-old boy. Her face was mashed in. She had no outstanding features. She had the physical body of someone who was completely undeveloped as a woman. So facially, she didn't look anything like anything that I considered beautiful. Her body didn't even look like a girl to me. And then that's when I realized that, because she didn't look like anybody, any of the women in my neighborhood, any of the women in my family, any of the women that I was around on a regular basis. None of my teachers, nothing. Okay. So that's when I realized that the definition of beauty cannot be determined by one set of standards. Okay. Because the women I grew up with were beautiful and people told them they were beautiful all the time. But they looked nothing like this woman that was in the soap opera. So that's when I first realized that I, as a black woman, don't look like the standard of beauty. And if you're watching this video, you probably don't either. All right. So the standard of beauty is completely different if you are a woman of color. Okay. If you are anything other than just, every day, what's seen in magazines or daytime television. So armed with this information, that is how I determine my own beauty. Okay. And my friends, and the people I grew up with in my community, my family members were all beautiful, but they didn't look like the standard of beauty. Now, I knew they were beautiful. They knew they were beautiful. The men in their lives knew they were beautiful. So the standard definition of beauty simply did not apply to us. Now, I am talking about this because I keep hearing about the standards. Oh, you don't meet the standard. Oh, you don't meet the standard. Oh, you don't meet the standard. Okay. And I don't care what they tell you. Beauty is subjective. Okay. It is a matter of opinion. And they'll tell you about symmetry and skin color and all this other mess. It's all complete and total BS. Okay. The only people who adhere to that standard are the men who are talking about it. And to be honest with you, those men don't matter. Okay. Because if they're out here on podcasts talking, who's dating these guys? No one that I know. Okay. I would never meet that standard of beauty, and I don't ever want to meet that standard of beauty. Okay. And you should not aspire to either, because it is a false regulator of beauty, because it's determined by the guy who's looking. That's his opinion. Well, baby, there's millions and millions and billions of men on this earth, and he doesn't speak for all of them. I guarantee it. In fact, he can only speak for himself. Him and his buddies, they speak for themselves. So when you hear that, that's why I completely ignore it. It makes no difference. A man's opinion of your looks doesn't matter. Okay? We only want one man in our life. That'd be the man we're going to love, who's going to love us. Everybody else can take a hike. All right? And you need to always remember that when they start going on about how you're only a 2 or 4. Somehow these men think that they are the people who direct how beauty is assigned in this world, and they are not. Someone who they may consider to be a 2, a 3, a 5 is a 10, 12, 50 to somebody else. See, that's what we want. We want a man who looks at you as an entire package, as a woman, and is not rating you on a scale. All right? Because if you get into the weeds with these guys, baby, they'll have you believing that there's a whole bunch of stuff that you got to do to make it to the 10 that they want. And most of it is pretty disgusting. I'll tell you that. Because the whole goal here, remember, is to get in your pants, have sex with you. And to do that, they got to break you down. And I'm going to add in a little bit something different here, because I don't want to be a standard beauty. There is nothing standard about me, not a single thing. And there should be nothing standard about you. When you put me together as a package, as a woman, I am unique, and so are you. I don't want to be judged by anybody who thinks that a scale of 1 to 10, looking at me from across the room, tells him anything about me, because that's a man with absolutely no common sense and very little depth. All right. He's looking for a hole to stick his penis in. That's all he's looking for. And to be honest, we all know, oh, I need a 10. You'll be good if you get accepted by a 2 or a 3. Because most of these guys are so disgusting, nobody wants anything to do with them. So I wouldn't even argue with them. Because I know my value, I know my worth, and ladies, you should too. All right, so the discussion of what number you are, when men start talking, and quite frankly, I've never had a man ever in my life rank me in any capacity like this. Any man that I've ever gone out with, dated, was married to, no, none of them said that. The men who I married think I'm beautiful. The men I've dated think I'm beautiful. That's all that matters. The echo chamber that is TikTok and YouTube and all the social media, baby, turn that part off, because it is the only method that these men have to leverage some kind of control for women. It is based on women's insecurities, and they're gonna leverage that insecurity to get you to do something that I can assure you don't want to do. Now, I'll be honest, I'll do nothing I don't want to do. Nothing. The list of stuff that I don't want to do is a page and 2 pages long. I don't do anything I don't want to do, and neither should you. Do not let a man convince you for one moment that you are of lesser looks, and so you should have lesser expectations. That's BS. Let me say it again. That is BS. You put your standards as high as you want. Rank yourself a 10 every single time, because the man that you are with, the one who you ultimately choose, should think you're a 10 too. If he doesn't, push him on off the boat and keep going. Because, baby, men have all kind of tastes, all right? And we only need one. Just one. Love you, ladies.